ES Audio.
From the Evening Standard in London, I'm Rochelle Travers, and this is The Leader. Warning, this episode contains strong language as well as major spoilers for Kill List, episode 5 of the final season of Succession. The Roys, Waystar Royco's top players, and even Greg were off to Norway in the latest episode of Succession to get the long-awaited GoJo deal done. But despite the serene surroundings, it was anything but relaxing. There were painfully awkward meetings, cutthroat business moves, and plenty of family backstabbing. I mean, it is Succession. Blood was literally shed, in pints apparently, a kill list unveiled, and an unlikely alliance formed. Every Tuesday until the final of Succession, we'll be reviewing each episode after it drops on the Leader podcast. Be sure to listen to hear analysis, insight, and general fandom around one of the most talked about TV series ever. Joining me this week are...
My name's Elizabeth Gregory and I'm a culture writer.
I'm Hamish MacBain and I'm the deputy editor of ES Magazine.
Liz, Season 4, Episode 5, the halfway point of the final season. Just run through what exactly happened.
So the episode opens with Kendall on the way to the Waystar Royco offices. He's listening to Take Over by Jay-Z.
Yeah, I know, it's such a Kendall moment.
When he arrives, everyone claps him and he looks over at his father's desk and they're just kind of bantering. And then they all fly to Norway for Matsson's annual retreat. And he actually asks for everyone else, all of the cronies, to go as well. Apparently it's a move where the GoJo team kind of sizes up the Waystar Royco team. So anyway, they all go over and then it's a lot of back and forth about the GoJo deal. Matsson says he wants to now buy ATN as well. Kendall and Roman aren't keen, because that's what their dad carved out. And they also don't think that Matsson understands the company, which he doesn't. He wants to kind of break it into little parts. And so the rest of the episode is basically about that.
So, Hamish, has Matsson actually won? Is the GoJo deal really done now?
Well, what I would say is that from the minute that Matsson walked in with his hood up, it was just like the Roys are no match for him. Like he just mind games them. He's so much cleverer than them. It was obvious to me from the start that he wanted to just get the deal done. He didn't really care what the price was. And so he just manipulated them all in the ways that they're easily manipulated, which is Kendall just wants to be serious business talk. So you just be an idiot and say stupid stuff and he blows up. Roman you say something mean about his dad and he blows up. And Shiv just wants to feel like she's being listened to. And so he manipulated them all masterfully, in my opinion. It was obvious that they didn't want to do the deal, but he just wanted to get it done. And in the end, he just went round the back of them. He knew what they were doing, basically. He knew that they were trying to blow the deal up. And he just outwitted them very, very simply.
Do you think Matsson's won, Liz?
I'm not as convinced as Hamish. I mean, I love Matsson as well. And I think he's obviously smarter than them and,
built his own company.
And that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, if he wants Waystar and they won't give it to him, then he hasn't won. So there's still so much to play out.
I mean, I do think it will get more complicated, obviously, mainly because there's, 5 episodes to go.
Exactly.
But it seems to me that he's got the measure of them psychologically. And he knows what the emotive issues are and he knows what the financial issues are. And he's just playing them. And also, I think really, he doesn't really care whether he does get it or not. He's kind of just doing it just for shits and giggles, I think. I'm reminded of the quote when we first met him in season 3. And he said, success is boring. Analysis plus capital plus execution. Failure is interesting. So he's just this really bored, very Elon Musky. And so I don't think he wants it in the same way that they are so attached to it emotionally because of their dad. Whereas he just wants, he's just enjoying the messing around and being silly and playing games with people.
It was a big episode for Shiv, actually, in contrast to last week. She obviously made some, powerful moves and potentially an unlikely alliance. Obviously, we don't know the full details, but it looked that way. What do you think is going to be the arrangement with her and Matsson? How's that going to play out? There was sexual tension with them, I definitely think, even though he was essentially telling her a very creepy story involving pints of blood.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that she didn't share that piece of information with her brothers about the blood, because obviously that would give their case give them such a stronger case. And it would also, so she's obviously kind of trying to bolster her own case in a way. And I wonder how that's going to play out. I did think there was lots of sexual tension as well between them. I really thought something was going to happen. But then obviously he told the story about Ebba and she was like, okay, maybe not.
Some of the quotes from Shiv in response to the story were so funny. I was like, because when he was saying, oh yeah, as a kind of joke, I sent her like pints of blood, like frozen. And then she first one was like, first of all, good one.
Yeah, exactly. Good one. And then when he says, I'll just lawyer it up and like deny it. And she's like, I think deniability is going to be quite hard given the amount of blood that she has of yours.
3-point PR plan just off the top of my head. Point 1, might be hard for you, but stop sending people blood.
I did think it was interesting that 3 or 4 times in the episode that Kendall said to Roman, should we go and talk about this? And Roman was always the one going, yeah, let's get Shiv. Yeah. And there was just these little looks from Kendall, like he doesn't want Shiv to be part of it. He wants it to be the C bros, as they amusingly called them at the start. But Roman very much does. Like Roman's turning into the kind of weirdly the most compassionate character in the show.
100%.
As in he's the one who gets really upset whenever anyone's talking about his dad. He wants Shiv to be involved. He wants it to be a family thing. He was the one helping Kerry with her bag and asking for a number and stuff. And he's turning into this, the kind of weirdly the most compassionate character. But I do think, I mean, not to say I'm Nostradamus of this podcast, but I did say 2 weeks ago that there would be unlikely team-ups.
I did think this as soon as it happened. I was like, oh, you called it. Yeah.
And I think that, I think Matsson and Shiv is a pretty hot team up.
Yeah.
It's a kind of Roman Jerry level. But Matsson is also, he's a completely erratic, crazy loose cannon who makes Roman look like, Jerry.
So the name of the episode is Kill List. We were given a kill list, essentially, towards the end. It was obviously heavily influenced from Shiv's recommendations. It could be that part of this was played out that we didn't see. That's why she had such an influence over who might potentially stay and who go.
Interesting.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, no, that's very possible, yeah.
No, I think he just rates her opinions. So when she said that Jerry was good, I think he made a mental note of that. Was it Jerry or no? When she said that Carolina was good,
it was. She mentioned both Carolina and Jerry. So because I was like, it's a good day for the women at Waystar Royco.
Yeah, that was quite Matsson-esque of Liz. When they're like they were going, the deal doesn't work, and he's going, yeah, it works. Yeah. And they go, no, it doesn't. But let's talk about it. No, it works. Yeah. And he just kept saying that.
Yeah.
And they were just getting infuriated.
Let's go to the ads. Stay there to hear Elizabeth Gregory and Hamish MacBain on the Succession Power Rankings after this latest episode. Welcome back. Still with me are the Evening Standards, Elizabeth Gregory and Hamish MacBain.
I think there's going to be a silly back and forth for a while where Matsson keeps upping the offer and then the kids, at some point, the board's going to be like, look, why aren't we accepting this? So I don't know how Kendall and Roman are going to manage to worm their way out of it or make the deal implode. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and that's a lot of fun to watch is right, and that's exactly what Matsson is thinking.
Yeah.
He doesn't, he's just like, I don't care. Like, it's not a huge amount of money to him. He knows that the board are going to want to take that offer immediately because they've all got their golden parachutes that they want to hop into and get out. And he's very, very obviously aware. Like when he says, you're trying to Scooby-Doo me, he just sees through the fact that they're trying to blow up the deal immediately. Did you go to Hanna-Barbera Business School? Yeah. Was a very good line. And and the fact that he asked Shiv for the photo, he's very obviously enjoying the fact that he's forcing them to do the one thing that they obviously don't want to do. Mm. And for that pleasure, he will pay whatever price it costs.
Yeah, and I think after that, you were saying, Hamish, about the fact we'll see some unlikely kind of teams be made. If it's Kendall and Roman and then the board and then Shiv and Matsson, who's going to win?
Where do we think like people are in the sort of power rankings at the moment then? Do we think that it's Matsson, like, is basically it's his to lose? He's coming out on top. Was it Shiv's episode?
I wrote a power rankings piece, and I still put Kendall at the top. I put Kendall, Roman, Matsson, and then Shiv, and I put it in that order. The reason being that at the moment, Kendall and Roman haven't quite been bumped off the top spot by Matsson because right at the end, he offers them more money. And so they are still in the position where they have to decide. And the deal hasn't fallen through yet. So I thought that in the balance of things, I didn't want to put Matsson first because he's still after Waystar, which also gives them some power as well. And then I put Shiv fourth because I think Matsson comes above Shiv at this point.
What about you, Hamish? Who do you think?
I thought Shiv played very well, very, very well within this episode. I thought that the very end where Matsson asked her to send a picture of, I just thought that kind of ruined it for me. I thought you're being played here.
Yeah.
You're being manipulated.
Any standout quotes? What were your favourites?
Oh, so many. I really liked Jerry's when she was saying, yeah, we don't need to be worried about them because they're Europeans, you know, with their healthcare and their, what did she say?
Social
security. And like, we're Americans. We were raised by that pathogen, Logan. I just thought it was so funny. And then there's that one, if a deal collapses in the woods and no one hears it, is it an SEC violation? Which is amazing.
I thought in a very quiet episode for Greg had a couple of very, very funny lines. I thought when Tom had asked him to dig up dirt on Matsson, and he said, when he's boning randos, he wears noise-cancelling headphones and listens to podcasts.
Yeah.
And I also thought when he was making his point about France, and you almost didn't hear it because someone talked over him, but he said, maybe the baguette is mightier than the bagel.
Wait, I didn't hear that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
There were some, who else? I mean, obviously, I think that You're a Fucking Tribute Band kind of sums up the episode.
Yeah, best insults that definitely came from Matsson.
Yeah, I think that was but very astute and true. And there were some other ones, like when he said, I care it to fuck. I thought that was very good.
Yeah.
Succession is available to watch in the UK on Sky Atlantic and Now. And that's it from this episode. We'll be back next Tuesday with more Succession insight. The Leader Podcast is back tomorrow at 4 p.m.